This challenge is all about the social determinants of health and what that means: education, economic development, housing, public health, the environment. It's all of these different issues and factors that will go into solving this problem.
Cutting to the root causes of violence. This week, Governor J.B. Pritzker declared gun violence a public health crisis in Illinois. And under a new program, the state is pledging $50 million this year and $200 million over the next 2 years for organizations that focus not on policing communities, but building them up. My next guest helped push this plan through the Illinois Senate and onto the governor's desk. His district covers much of the Chicago lakefront from downtown to 95th Street. Democratic State Senator Robert Peters joins me this morning to talk more about what's next. Senator, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So the overall violence prevention program effort, it's got 4 key components or elements to it. I want to walk through those with you so our viewers understand what it is that you've shepherded through, what the governor has signed. The first, high-risk youth intervention programs, referring to teens into therapeutic programs addressing trauma. Talk about the importance of that piece.
Well, yeah, so I think that's very important, particularly in the fact that young people who've experienced series of trauma, so that's from violence to disinvestment, the pandemic, economic crises. The idea is that you want to intervene, you want to sort of stop, try to prevent people from entering into the place where they act out of their trauma. And I think it's an early intervention thing to do. I always think about, we had a shooting in the neighborhood of Simeon students. They got shot and killed. One of them particularly was in Hyde Park. And I always say there's this gap. So their family, their loved ones, students experiencing this trauma, and there's not this place where you're intervening at that point of trauma. And so it's important for us to invest in that and build on that.
Well, another piece, and it seems so critical, the youth development program, after school, summer programs to increase school attendance and performance. It would seem to me, and not that these were set out in any particular order of priority, but it seems to me that that's where it all starts if you want to try and break the cycle before it begins.
I think it's a combination of things. I think that each block is important when it comes to interrupting violence and when it comes to ending gun violence, right? We have to think about a series of things. You want the early intervention period. You want the, to invest in activity and behaviors that interrupt that violence. You want to invest in the therapeutic side of things. And then there's also the fact that there are people who might have gone down the road in heading towards violence, and you just want to be able to stop it. I think that if we can hit at every level, we can actually, sort of stop violence in every level of the cycle. And I think that's very important, because at the end of the day, when we think about public safety, it's not something that's very narrow. It's something that's pretty broad, and it's important for us to understand how broad that is, and to be able to understand that there's different systems at play that you've got to interrupt and step into. And
maybe one of the broadest pieces of it is a third element of this third program, which is the violence prevention services. That does include the violence interruption work, therapy, housing, employment. It seems like a huge piece. It almost seems like the violence prevention services encompasses everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way, and the way that this bill is set up, it's targeted. It's looking at data and evidence. And so I think you're going to end up talking about the Office of Firearm Violence Prevention. But the idea is that looking at areas that have been hardest hit by firearm violence or gun violence, and focusing and targeting as much energy there with a few pieces and few parts at the discretion of the office to make sure that we're stopping anything that we're seeing grow or expand in terms of more trauma and more violence. And I think at the end of the day, we're trying to root this in sort of an evidence-based model around public safety.
And the final piece, element, again, and that sounds like the bit of overlap here, is trauma recovery services for people who have been exposed to firearm violence. And it notes that the funding is through Medicaid. That's federal money. Is that a done deal?
That is a thing that's in the process of being done. I don't want to jump ahead of the governor's office, but that is part of the plan. I believe another state has done this or is close to doing it. So Illinois, like usual, is trying to lead the country in reimagining public safety and set a new model, set a new course in what it means to lift up communities.
Now, I don't want to be a downer in all of this, but $250 million is a lot of money. Everybody's proud of that. But given what you've just talked about, those four programs and services, it kind of sounds like a drop in the bucket. So is it meant to just prime the pump, or is it going to accomplish more than I think?
I think it's a combination of things. I think it will go a long way, but it's really at the early stages. This is a foundation, a new direction when it comes to public safety. And with that, you're essentially building on top of it. And so combined with the fact that we're using sort of an evidence or database model to be able to do violence interruption, to do trauma recovery, trauma interventions, that means that you kind of have to take some time to build it up. But I know that there were folks, particularly, Republican colleagues, who wanted to see this all over the state. And I think at the end of the day, as this grows and as this gets built out, I would love to have conversations that expand on it. I believe that this is a great model because of the fact that it's so data driven. And I think there's actually real hope that if we can focus on that and we can focus at hardest hit areas, that we can expand on it and grow and hopefully understand. And it's an important thing to understand is that results on this is going to take some time. It's not going to be immediate because we have to put the investments in. We want to make sure organizations are ready. We want to make sure that communities are ready. We want to make sure that we invest in people to trust each other. But what I do know is that because it's rooted in data, we will always be able to look back and review to make sure that I'm a baseball fan, so we have the best swing, right? When you think about baseball, you don't use the same swing over and over again. That the idea is that we're honing that swing each and every time. All
right, Senator Robert Peters, thanks for outlining all of that. We appreciate that. We'll keep in touch in this program and keep in touch with you as things lay out. Thank you. Have a great Sunday.
Definitely. Thank you.
All right. Still to come on WGN-TV Political Report. After big losses in Virginia, Democrats here in Illinois start to strategize for the year ahead and how to keep support in the suburbs from slipping. We'll be talking with the new chair of the Democratic Party of DuPage County when we come back.